Hello, everybody. Welcome to StraightA. Dawson here.
Dude, stop watching football. Watch hockey instead.
Shoe's already over the season. It looks like everybody's over the season because nobody's here. Apparently, I'm the only one so excited for it. Who knows?
I'm excited for this. Not excited to watch the Patriots lose every week.
Well, now you know how Broncos fans felt for the last 7 years. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
um, as you see, again, Shu and I are still just holding it down in terms of this content and being together here. We're gonna be here for for the predictions video and this power rankings video, just us two because everybody else sucks. They just said go fuck yourself, and we said, oh, I guess all right, cool. Uh, in reality, Trayton is on vacation. He's taking a much deserved break. He's on a cruise somewhere drinking a margarita probably. Um, Ben, he's on his way back from vacation, so he got a little stuck in traffic. So he was trying to make it, but he couldn't because we got to record this in time for me to upload or me to edit this and stuff like that. And then Taylor is Taylor. He's just doing his own things. He's King Taylor now, running for homecoming king for UTM. So shout out to Gordon Ramsay for shouting us out. By the way, that was pretty cool. You didn't see that?
What are you talking about?
Didn't see where Gordon Ramsay shouted out UTM. Say UTM is that even a fucking school?
No.
Yeah, it was like I forgot. It was like some skit that he was doing with like different college football teams, and said Georgia, play some fucking real teams. Is UTM even a fucking school?
All
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. It was fun. So
right, cool. No,
yeah.
we're not.
No, we're not a
No,
school.
we're not.
Not a football school,
We're not.
definitely.
Nope.
We still love you though,
Look at
UTM.
look at any look at any degree from UTM. It doesn't say Martin on it.
It's true. We're just UT.
We don't really exist.
That's true. We're just kind of like the ag people out in the out west, out west in
Yeah.
Tennessee, I guess. uh,
Okay.
Either way, like I said, everybody's kind of on their own stuff, doing stuff. But Shu and I were still around. We're like, hey, let's go get this fucking rolling. That way, we still got some nice little content. We got some good ideas bubbling behind the scenes. Monday series is still chugging along, so please enjoy all of that. Of course, you're watching this power rankings, but predictions probably was already uploaded the day before, so go watch that as well. But Shu, let's get into the power rankings because man, bye weeks are here, and bye weeks kind of suck for power rankings. So we're just gonna cut to the chase and. Share the screen for the power rankings. I forgot. I gotta always pull this up first. So boom, bada bing. There's my NFL Week 6 power rankings. I'll let that kind of digest first. There's a couple things on here that really kind of sucks for me. I don't. There's just some initial notes. I'm just gonna say this: if you're almost not a fucking team to me. If you're not in the top 13. The Vikings are in that little weird area where I'll say some different things about them later. But 1 through 13 are the real NFL teams right now. While everybody else 14 through like 32 have their own problems they need to deal with. They need to get through their emo phase of the season.
Yeah, you're so right.
Is there any initial
All
comments
right.
you have?
I'll get to him when I get to him.
All right, sound good. We'll hit the ground running and go with the very right eight. What do you say?
I said I'll get to him when I get to him.
That's fair. It's fair. We'll
All
start
right.
off. We'll start off with the very far right. Then some initial thoughts. We don't have to spend too long on these teams. I put the Broncos below the Bears because I mean you can't perform. The Bears have performed two games in a row. Sure, they lost to the Broncos, but the Broncos have just on defense looked worse than the Bears in a lot of ways. Looked worse than the Bears on offense in a lot of ways, and they didn't squeak out a victory while the Bears did. They had the same record. I give the Bears the kind of over them a little bit. So I do think the Broncos are the worst team in the NFL. Maybe that's fan bias too and being hard on my team, but whatever. The Panthers are finally in that bottom section now. I think their 0-5 has solidified them into the worst teams category. Bryce Young has looked good. It's made the team look good, but they're starting to eke out losses that look kind of bad. They had some close losses here in the beginning of the season, but they kind of now got into the nasty territory where now they're losing by like 20 to the Lions, which is I mean, Lions are a good team, but by 20 up to the Lions is still kind of a strange place to be at. Texans are kind of looking like they're kind of getting that inconsistent range. It looks like they had a rough start to the season, had some bright points, and now are in that phase where they're kind of winning some, losing some. So they're still in the up and up, but like they're not looking great doing it. Cardinals are Cardinals. They're on the 30 spot. Not really much to say to them. The Colts are kind of my rising team this week in terms of like even with Anthony Richardson out, I think Anthony Richardson made the team look good, but with him out, it doesn't look like the team got much worse. They changed up to a whole different play style with Gardner Minshew and are playing well and doing well. They're kind of my rises of the week. They're not quite out of that bottom section. I'd say that 27 through 32 are kind of still my bad teams, like the worst of the worst, but they are in the potential of getting out of there. Tennessee Titans are kind of in a range of their own. They're not quite as good as the Raiders, I think, at this point, but they're not quite as bad as the bad teams. They did fine enough as a divisional game against the Colts. I didn't quite give the Colts the range over the Tennessee Titans there after the win because it was a close game. It was actually not a bad game from either team too much. So I'm keeping them in their own categories for now, but they are prone to switch at any point. And then the Raiders actually didn't look too bad, but they played the Packers, who looked bad. So take that as you will. The Raiders kind of bottom out my mediocre-ish teams tier, if that makes sense. So, any comments there?
As far as that column, as I still think the Broncos should be above the Bears. They beat them, but neither here nor there. They are the 31-32 team. It doesn't matter which order you put them in; they both suck. Moving up past that, I mean, the Cardinals seem to be exactly where they're meant to be. I really don't have any complaints about that entire column, except for I feel like it's missing one team, and maybe the Raiders go up to that 24 spot. But that's about it.
And I have a feeling it's probably the team over in the 20 spot, I'm guessing, that we're about to get to.
Yeah, no, that team should be in about that 29. Not even going to lie.
Yeah, so here's the problem with, I will say, this is going to be the inherent problem with the way I do tier lists. Oh, got a call. Sorry, you are going to have to wait call. The third column, so the way I do tier lists, of course, is kind of gradual losses and wins. And so when I get really off a team, so when I finally don't believe in a team anymore, I still want to treat them fairly in terms of my power rankings. And that was my kind of fair treatment to the Patriots. While in reality, I do think they are kind of getting. I won't say they're in the 27 through 32 tier quite yet, but like they're that 25, 26 arguably. But I still want to treat them fairly because it's 2 weeks in a row they got destroyed. So maybe I should have punished them more 2 weeks ago against the Cowboys when they got destroyed. And so I'm. It got to take those losses there. But I'll quickly go through this one as well. Not too much to talk about here. Commanders also finally off of, in terms of I don't believe in them very much. I think their 24, 25, 26 spot's going to be perfect for them for the rest of the season. They're going to be 6-11, whatever. That's what it looks like. The Saints and Falcons are great. I didn't give the Saints too many roses because all three of these teams, the Rams, the Falcons, and the Saints, all played well. The Saints won by a lot more, but honestly, after that game, I didn't think it was impressive enough to put them over any other team in terms of the Falcons or Rams. The Falcons and Rams, the Falcons played really well. The Rams played really well against a good team. So that's kind of the problem there. Rams lost to a good team but played well against them. The Falcons won, but they kind of... Wait, did the Falcons win? Yes, the Falcons won. They won. They looked good doing it, but it was against a mediocre-ish team. Saints... Same thing. They destroyed a team. They looked good doing it. Looked fine doing it, I should say. So it's kind of, they all just rose up one, kind of in the same order. The Rams, I think, are still the closest to overtaking against that 19 through 16 tier. I think they just need one game to really show me that they can eke out wins and look good because they're 2-3. How well they're doing doesn't really show off on record. So it's kind of unfortunate. Meanwhile, the Patriots, of course, are the -4 followers of the week. I think I was maybe a little bit too easy on them in the coming weeks because I really believed in the defense, and so I could see this team being a lot lower. I'm going to say solid at 20 for now. I'm treating them fairly, but they are pretty much on the verge of falling easily into that 23 to 24, 5 tier, basically for me. So I won't argue too much about the Patriots' performance because they have the last 2 games, looking back on them, have been pretty pitiful. So their -4 drop is still pretty fine, I guess. They're kind of in that in-between area between the Packers and Rams right now. I'm okay with it. I'm not happy about it, but sure, we'll go with it. Packers, they didn't blow me away. They didn't really show me too much difference. I mean, there were so many bad teams around them. They just kind of stayed the same. They performed bad, but honestly not as bad as some of the teams below them in a lot of ways. And they just did bad enough to not go above the teams above them, which are also bad. The Giants, -3. I mean, you get destroyed by the Dolphins. I mean, it's Dolphins, yeah, but you lost another game by a decent margin. The Steelers actually looked good against the Ravens team. It's a divisional game, so they honestly the +3 is more so because the teams around them are kind of bad, more than they are actually really good. But I was still impressed by how they played, so I think a 17 spot right now for them is pretty solid. Anyway, Shu, you can get on your tangent about the Patriots if you want. I know you probably want to.
Um, I mean, I know they say one man or two men don't make a team, but the loss of Judon and Gonzalez in 1 week
Mhm.
has shown that two men can make an entire defense. I mean, you give up what 30? I don't even how many points they give up to the Saints. I
34.
didn't watch the game.
34.
34. You give up 34 points to the Saints. The week before that, you look horrible. Um, the only teams I really see them beating at this point are that 30, 31, 32, maybe, but I even think those will be close games. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, and I get the way you do is just like gradual. And the way I didn't do one this week, but the way I usually do it is just based on the feel of a team's chemistry or how a team's been doing. I would have dropped them way further, but I honestly just didn't want to think about football for a while. I would definitely put them below the Saints minimum, just because the Saints beat them by that much. So I guess the highest I would have them at this point would be 23, and then have the Rams, Falcons, and Saints right above them. So maybe not a horrible, like a drastic drop all the way down to that fourth column yet, but they're headed there. But definitely below the Saints.
I think I respect that a lot.
And
I
I
think
feel like,
23 spot I respect a lot. Sorry.
and then I mean, I feel like the Raiders are going to beat them this coming week. So I feel like that'll drop them into that kind of fourth column area. Um, outside of that, I mean, for most of these power rankings, I'm looking at them and they're fair. I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier this week. Bye weeks suck to have to power rank around. Um, but the top 13 teams are the NFL at this point. The rest of them, you could put any of those teams anywhere on that list, and I'd probably look at it and go, yeah, sure, why not? The 13 through one, you know, I might have them swapped out a little bit, but those are the definitive 13, and the rest are a dumpster fire. like,
Yeah, that's
so,
fair.
I mean, I want to give a lot of feedback and be my usual self, but with this week and what happened over this past weekend with football in general, I mean, there's really nothing that I'm going to argue until maybe that 1 and 2 column. I might have a few things to say, but those back half are just tank for Caleb Williamson, all of you, every single one of you. I want to see a ton of ties this year. Like
Valid.
no one wants to win anymore,
We haven't seen a tie
but
yet. You know, that's kind of crazy. We haven't seen a tie yet in the
we
NFL.
haven't.
Not this season.
We haven't.
There's always one. There's always one, at least one. It feels like.
Yeah,
So that'll be kind of fun.
as Ted Lasso said, it's like kissing your sister.
I'm not even gonna ask because I know Ted Lasso, but I haven't heard that quote, so I'm not even gonna ask the context on that one. Besides, like the in terms of how it is, I mean, how it's like kissing your sister. Uh, you know, it's kind
Ties like kissing your sister.
in terms of actual kind of conversation points for this, it's kind of interesting to see the teams kind of in the 17 through 32 category, or more so in the third column. How some of these teams are 3-2. I believe. And, correct me if I'm wrong. The Steelers are 3-2. I believe the Falcons and Saints are both 3-2 now. I'm gonna check that.
I'm just gonna pull up the NFL standings.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and quickly do that as well.
Take a looky, see.
Because like I was doing it in my head, like I was going to compare like the standings right now and the where they're ranked. Yeah, Falcons, Saints, and Steelers are all 3-2, but they're in the third column. Meanwhile, there's a couple 2 and 3 teams ahead of them, and there's a 1 and 4 team ahead of a lot of them, which we'll get to that team here in a little bit. Which is probably my most controversial one, I'd say.
You know, or you could even look at this. The 29 spot is 2 and 3.
Yeah, that's true.
The Texans are 2-3 this year.
Yeah, I mean everybody has at least
Um,
one win. But
well,
besides
yeah,
Panthers,
but
sorry, besides
I
Panthers,
mean
my B
the
Panthers.
Broncos are 1-4, and the Panthers are the only team that are 0-5. Um,
but
and the
that they're
Cardinals are 1-4. What about the Bears? The Bears are 1-4. The Vikings are 1-4, and you have them at 14.
yeah.
Like this is what we're talking about. The 13 through 1 are the NFL. You look at 13 through 1. You got what? Well, 5-0. You got where are the Eagles?
So 49ers 5-0,
5-0,
5-0.
5-0, 5-0. Um,
Bills are 3 and
three
2,
and two.
4-1 for Chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
4-1 for Dolphins,
Dolphins are at 4-1.
3-2 for Ravens, 3-2 for
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys, 3-2 for Jags, 4-1 for Lions. By the way, impressive little sneaky record there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Chargers 2-2 because they had the bye week. Seahawks are also 2-2. Bengals are 2-3, and I believe the Bucks are 3-1. So the Bengals are.
Honestly, yeah, I just don't know what I don't know where to go with power rankings in the NFL in general anymore. Um, I feel like there's a lot of tanking for players at this point because you just don't. I mean, the NFL is not what it was. I mean, me and you grew up. It was Manning versus Brady. We loved it. Now it's Mahomes and Burrow, and Burrow sucks this year. So what are we even talking about him for? It's I guess Mahomes is the icon at this point. Herbert's up there.
Allen,
Um,
Josh
yeah,
Allen. Yeah.
Josh Allen's up there. But what do we do? Where is it? Where's the star power? Where's that guy who in the NFL? It's the two guys who are the heads of the NFL, and you wait for them to play every year. We grew up with Rodgers too. We could throw him in that conversation with Brady and Manning. I mean,
Big Ben,
we
Philip
grew up with these.
Rivers.
Yep, these huge. I mean, if you want to talk about Eli Manning, you can. You can. I mean, he
Drew
beat Brady
Brees.
in the Super Bowl twice. Drew Brees, Sig,
Mm-hmm.
Sigma Chi, Drew Brees.
Yeah, same with Drew Brees.
Um, Sigma Chi, Drew Brees. I mean, but where do we? I just don't know, Dawson.
You know, and I think I will
I,
say on that note, I think that we are in a phase where we're kind of feeling out like a lot of the star power in terms of like it felt like it didn't transition normally. It felt like we just kind of ended an era and we kind of just started a new one when I don't want to say
Mhm.
when Tom Brady won his last Super Bowl. I know he had a season after that, but when Tom Brady won that last Super Bowl, it almost felt like it concluded an era because Big Ben also retired that year. That was shortly after Drew Brees retired. Philip Rivers wasn't too
Mhm.
much before that. Alex Smith, if you want to throw him in that conversation, was kind of in that conversation. Also retired somewhere around that
Yep.
time. It felt like all these stars left almost at the same near the same time frame, or at least
Mhm.
became irrelevant around the same time frame. And
Absolutely.
then all of a sudden Mahomes was really good. Josh Allen was kind of making a name. Joe Burrow made his name recently. Like Aaron
Mhm.
Rodgers, of course, is still in the league, so I mean he's an exception. Um,
Well, is he though?
I,
I don't know if you can consider one drive in a year being in the league anymore.
I mean, that's valid, but he's still existing and he still plans on playing again, so you got to give him that. But now we're just kind of in this new
Yeah.
star-studded range where we're now like the oldest good quarterback, like in terms of star-studded quarterback. And I'm taking Matthew Stafford out of that because I know he's a Super Bowl, but like I'm putting him into the more Nick Foles area now. At
Yeah.
this point,
Hmm.
I mean the oldest quarterback right now is Patrick Mahomes in terms of like pure stardom and like really good, and that's 20. He's 28, and that's really freaking young. Because then you have
Hmm.
like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, who I think are around 20. So Josh Allen's 26, Joe Burrow's like 24, 25. Justin Herbert's
Hmm.
24, Trevor Lawrence is like 23, Jalen Hurts is like 24. And you have all these young quarterbacks. I mean, who's another really good quarterback besides Aaron Rodgers, who's like in the older ages, who's kind of in that like maybe 30 range? Like I'm actually looking right now on this list right and just processing who are the older good quarterbacks. You got Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford, who kind of are in those categories.
How old is Jared Goff?
He's 29, I believe. 28, 29.
Is he really
Yeah, he's kind of young, low key.
28?
He's 28. I'm good
Yeah,
with it.
I
I'm
don't
good
know
with
why I
age.
thought he was.
I guess Dak Prescott, he's like 32, 33. I mean, he's good. He's fine. Um, he's kind of in that more Philip Rivers area. Derek Carr, I believe, is probably 30 now, if I had to guess.
Brian Hoyer, but he's not a starter.
Let's say, who the fuck is that? Barely.
Brian Hoyer?
I know who Brian Hoyer is, but
Yeah,
I'm just joking. Derek Carr's 32, so you got Dak Prescott and Derek
yeah.
Carr, who are kind of in that mid level, who are kind of older. Kirk
Hmm.
Cousins, I guess, is a good one.
Yeah.
He's like 33, isn't he?
Probably. Well, yeah. Matt. I mean,
35.
Matt Ryan doesn't play anymore, but he's still. I mean, he's a free agent. I don't think he's officially retired.
Yeah, that's fair.
Joe Flacco's a free agent.
Yeah, but those are, at this point they're kind of relegated to the backup quarterback leagues now. Like it's kind of like the Andy Dalton, Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of folks. They kind of play that role now
Yeah.
of just being a backup quarterback, which Ryan Fitzpatrick's retired now. But like when you look at the top teams here, like who's the okay on my power rankings? Who is like the first oldish quarterback? Dak Prescott at 7. That's the first one I see, and then
Yeah.
after that you got in my top 14, Kirk Cousins is next. Oh, Geno
Yeah.
Smith. Geno Smith at 11. Geno Smith at 11. We'll give him credit. Comeback player.
Yeah.
He's playing well. But he's not really a historical quarterback. He's just like second full year starting probably. So maybe
Yeah.
third year. Um, but it's just a lot of young blood. We're still getting used to it. So the NFL's kind of in this weird growing phase where the Kansas City Chiefs are the best quarterback. Like, or Kansas City Chiefs and Bills are kind of like the established good quarterbacks at this point. Joe Burrow, I guess you can kind of say that. It's weird. It's a weird thing, and we just got into a whole nother like podcast topic. But like the NFL's in a
Yeah.
weird place where it's exciting in a lot of ways because it's leading up to other stars and the receivers and defensive players. I think we're getting a lot more of those stars overall. Like there's no like big
Mhm.
star-studded people. I guess. I mean there are. There's like Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, people like that. But like we're seeing other stars coming out rather than quarterbacks because they got to carry it a little bit to push it
Yeah.
out, which I think is actually pretty cool to see. I mean, tight ends are like the big, like actually becoming a big thing now. Like I love T.J. Hawkinson, love Evan Ingram, love Darren Waller now, love like seeing obviously Travis Kelsey, Mark Andrews, George Kittle recently 3 touchdowns. Like it's kind of cool to see in that way. Um, I don't know. It is what it is. Staying on topic, unless you have anything else to say of it all.
No.
We'll go ahead and move into the second column. And I'll just
Mhm.
quickly go through these teams as well and allow you to kind of come in. So Jets +2. I mean, they beat the snot. I didn't really beat the snot of the Broncos because the offense kind of looked bad, but the defense destroyed the Broncos' offense for the most part. Browns, they're on a bye week, and this tells you how bad all the teams around them really are. They went up 2. The teams around them are so bad that I think the Browns are top of their team because they didn't have a chance to really screw themselves over. Uh, And then we get to this weird ether phase. I think the Vikings are almost that perfect DMZ location. Now, if you're not familiar with DMZ, it's the border
Yeah.
between North and South Korea. For anybody watching as well, it's like this is no man's land right there for the Vikings because they shouldn't be there. Honestly, I 100% respect anybody that says I'm stupid for putting the Vikings at 14. 100% respect it because they're 1-4. They're the best 1-4 team I've ever seen in my life. Like holy moly. They were at 14 last week. They stayed at 14 this week because I could not, in my heart of hearts, put them below the Browns. Last week, if you asked me, I would say that the top 14 teams are like some of the best teams. But now the Vikings have enclosed that into now they are in the Browns territory, and now they're officially in that third column phase. Because if they start losing again more and more, they're just going to get knocked down more and more. But I still think they deserve the spot because their offense is just crazy good. Now, I am curious how to see this next game will be. It's a defining game for this power rankings, but it's also a defining game because Justin Jefferson's out for a few weeks, I believe. So Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne, I believe, will have to really step up. Alexander Madison, people like that. I digress. Going into the real top 13 rankings, this is where the meat of the teams really come. Bucks were on a bye week. They just got knocked down one because the Bengals won, so I decided to give the Bengals a +1. Sure. Take that with a grain of salt. Seahawks stay the same, obviously bye week. Chargers also on a bye week, but the Jags and Lions impressed me so much that I just had to give them the spots over them. In fact, I think Jags did so well competing against the Bills. I mean, because that's a strong team. they jumped into the top 8 again. So top 8, I believe, is kind of a separate category as well, but like 9 is not too far off, if that makes sense. So, and Lions, of course, like I said, they won a game they were supposed to pretty handily, so they got +1. So some bye weeks teams. So we have like 3 bye weeks teams in this one, I believe. So, any comments?
We're just going through that second column.
Yeah, second column.
Honestly, I think the Jags should be there. I know they're winning. It is what it is. They've been in London. They went to London, and I believe that was when they played the Falcons.
Mm.
And if I remember correctly, it was a moderately close game.
No, they knocked the snot out of them.
Okay. And then what they do this past week?
They beat the Bills 25-20 in a very good shootout game. Neither team looked bad.
Well, and I was saying this on the last week. Jacksonville hasn't been home. They didn't. It's not like they beat the Falcons and then flew back to America, and then flew back to London. They stayed in London, and then they had the Bills fly on a plane and get on a field and play them. The Bills were jet lagged. I don't think that really showed the Jaguars being a good team. I feel like it was just, hey, our second home is London, and you have to fly here to meet us. I mean, if you take any team and put them overseas in London, and that's their home stadium, and they get to play there, and every other team has to come fly to you, you're probably gonna have a pretty good record. That's a long flight. Other than that, I mean, I think that would be my only real change is maybe put the Lions up at 8 and the Jaguars at 9. I'm not saying the Jaguars are a bad team. I'm just saying I don't think I'm going to take a game in London against the Bills as you just beat the Bills. I feel like you just beat a jet-lagged Bills team. If Jacksonville had to fly to Buffalo and play in Buffalo, I think Buffalo would have creamed them. Because they just flew to London and back from London. You're now jet-lagged. You're coming into a hostile environment. Now, we can call London a neutral area. It's not neutral. How many London games have there been?
Quite a few, but
20?
There's been quite a few, but Jags have played most of them.
The Jags, I think, have played in 10 of them.
Good God.
Like I gotta look this up really. London NFL games.
While you're doing that, while you're doing that and kind of counting them up, the only response I kind of have, I do love both of these teams. It was a genuinely good game. That's the only. Okay, so like the reason they were in London, I was gonna put the Cowboys below the Jags because the Cowboys, I believe, got knocked out of next week, but I hesitated because of that reason. But I still believe the 8 spots are appropriate just because both teams played well. The only thing about the Bills that didn't look good was their rush defense, which hasn't been this whole season looking the greatest anyway. So like that's the one thing that the Bills didn't look like they were ready for. Otherwise, they looked complete and ready. Because Josh Allen, I think, only threw 1 pick. He threw 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns, and I think he ran 1 in. They still looked good on offense. Their defense was, I think, just fine too. They've been playing how they normally, or not as I guess normally play, but they've been playing pretty well. And then Jags also, again, they just looked good. I mean, it just looked comprehensive. It didn't look like they just ran over a tired team. Now, granted, like I said, it could definitely have been that the Bills were tired, which I get it. I'm not saying that the Jags are better than the Bills, but I do think that the Jags deserve a little bit of credit because they put on a great game. If you watched it, it was honestly, again, Josh Allen's pick wasn't even really that bad. And like even Trevor Lawrence looked just really good, 317 yards and 1 touchdown, I believe. And so, you find how many London games there were?
There has been 35 London games and 4 games in Mexico.
Oh, nice. First one in Germany this year.
History. Yes, and the Patriots are playing.
Nah.
That's another one. Patriots fan in Germany, the Patriots are the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots are going to basically their international home. There's a whole fan page dedicated to Patriots fans of Deutschland. Like they're going to their second home. They're going to be surrounded by Patriots fans chanting in German
It's really weird.
at the other team.
The
I mean
Patriots.
that I think that's going to be the next game that I pick the Patriots is going to be when they're playing in Germany.
It's like in a few weeks though. It's
But
not too long.
all right, so multi-year deal 2013 20. Okay, this isn't even a list. This is just give me a list, Wikipedia. There we go.
I think they
Okay,
played in 11.
apparently there's been a lot of games in foreign countries.
Yep.
The first one was actually in Australia,
Yeah, makes sense.
but as far let's just go down.
Jags have played
to
11 times of those 34 times you talked about.
Okay, that's.
That was
How
34.
did you find that, sir?
I just looked up
There
how
we
many
go.
games have the Jaguars played in London.
London games. Okay. Well,
It was pretty simple.
I just. Yeah,
How many
I
NFL
guess I could have done that. I was more looking to see if there was any other team that's played there more, but yeah, I mean,
There's no way.
they played the last two games there, and they played the last game of last season there. Then they played what? A game in 2021 they played there. 2019 they played a game there. 2018 they played a team. I don't think
Yeah.
there's been a year that Jacksonville has not played there. 2017,
Mathematically, that would make sense.
2016, 2015, 2014, 2013.
So I don't have confirmation on this directly, but
2013. They have not played in a game there since 2013.
Yeah.
Before that, there was only one game a year there, and actually, the Patriots played there 2 out of those X amount of times, but it was split. I mean, the Patriots played there twice. The Buccaneers played there twice. The St. Louis Rams played there once. The Giants played there once. The Broncos played there once.
I think it's safe to say the Jaguars were the team have been the team that traveled internationally, probably the most, but also they're definitely the London team there.
They are the London team. I'd say the Patriots are the German team, if you want to even say there's a German team at this point.
Yeah, there hasn't been a German game though yet, so this is the first
There has-
Germany game.
Oh.
No, last year I believe maybe it was the first year. Maybe last year was the
There's-
first year. But it's very recent. The NFL's went to Germany. I remember remember UTM
there's been
almost
5 teams to play in Germany.
really. I thought
The
this was-
Patriots being one of them.
Really? Oh, okay.
There's also
I'll take my L.
hold on, no, something's wrong there. Because there's only one team listed, or maybe that's NFL teams located near the communities have a pre-existing domestic home market. Okay, so these are where teams' games play. So in Australia, you can watch the Rams and Eagles. In Austria, you can watch the Chiefs, Patriots, and Buccaneers. In Brazil, you only get Dolphins games.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about cable games. Gotcha. Okay.
There was 2 different charts, and I was looking at the wrong one.
Gotcha. Yeah. Germany for the first time was the NFL played in Germany for the first time last year, is what it says.
Okay, I mean, Germany gets 5 teams, the Patriots being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland is another Patriot. They get the Chiefs, Buccaneers, and Patriots. So basically, the 2 teams Tom Brady played for, and the Kansas City Chiefs in Switzerland. I mean, you're not getting many teams out there, but if I had to predict going to Germany, and who are they playing? I don't even know who they're playing when they go to Germany.
I have no idea.
Unless it's the Falcons, Panthers, Chiefs, or Buccaneers, it's going to be full of Patriots fans in Germany. Because that's pretty much what they see.
Let's see. I'm looking for the one time slot that's like really off. They're playing the Colts.
Okay, yeah. There's going to be a bunch of German Patriots fans.
November 12th.
Okay.
And this week they play
I will
the Raiders.
probably not watch that game.
Continuing the conversation, I guess there really wasn't that too much in the second column. There's a lot of bye week teams in there and all that stuff. Going to the first column, which I'm pretty firm on this top 8. I'll be honest with you. I think I really like this top 8. From the Jaguars being 8, being kind of the bottom of them all, yes. The Cowboys, I think, are on the down and down because I think what the Cowboys are really showing us are they can easily beat 9 through 32. I feel like that's almost guaranteed. They can beat like a lot of these teams that are 9 through 32, come in the Cardinals at number 30, but. I think they can beat most of those teams pretty handily with just their defense. But when their offense has to get involved against some of these teams, probably top 10 is more accurate, or top 10 they have to struggle against. When their offense actually has to play against the defense of these top 10 teams, like they start to struggle and you start seeing some cracks in their armor. And I think finally we're going to kind of see that more and more because the Cowboys have a harder schedule, harder division. So they're going to kind of have to step it up on offense if they want to do something. Defense can't carry every game. The Ravens, they lost to a divisional opponent, sure. I mean, I technically put the Dolphins above them, but the Cowboys went below them, so they stayed even. So, like, tomato. Dolphins, I officially am giving credit for the top 5 team. I know they beat only the Giants, but, like, every other team below them have had a big chink in their armor. Well, I think the Bills' loss is very minor in retrospect with divisional games and stuff like that. It was by 28 points or something like that, but I still think it was kind of a minor loss. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. Chiefs, number 4. Say what you will. I don't think the Vikings really got screwed that much in that game. I think the Chiefs just played really good football that game. And again, they're winning 4-1. Then you got the number 3, the Bills. The Bills did lose, but they lost a really good game, so I'm not putting them below that 3 spot. So I think they're pretty solid there. And you have the top 2 teams, which have been the same for the last like freaking 4 weeks. So and I'm firm on this. After the 49ers just decimated the Cowboys, I'm firm on saying the 49ers could probably take a loss to probably any team 9 through 24, and I probably wouldn't even put them. I wouldn't bat an eye. They'd still stay number 1. I'll be honest with you, as long as it's not like a blowout type game. If it's a close game, they lose to 9 through 24. I'm not moving them. I'll just promise this right now. I'm not moving them from the number 1 spot for a minor loss. Now if they get blown out by the Bears, or something, I'll probably be talking about it. Yeah, or the Pack, yeah, or something like that. But I think the 49ers are far and above the best team in the NFL. Not even close. The Eagles kind of have something, but they just manage to compete with even teams that they shouldn't compete with. The Commanders being one of them, divisional opponent, I guess. But yeah, I'm firm on this top 8. I'll be honest. I really am very strong on that.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna argue with you on that, Colin. I mean. I said it 2 columns ago. This rankings, it's content, but this is probably the most pointless week of power rankings. Hopefully next week we'll have some games that switch some stuff up. I mean, I don't know what game it's gonna be. I was gonna say hopefully the Patriots blow out the Raiders, but that's not gonna happen.
I don't know if that really shakes it up. I don't really know if that even shakes it up.
if you haven't watched my or you haven't watched the other video where we does this one come out first or does our prediction come out first?
The predictions come out first.
If you haven't watched the prediction video, spoiler alert, I'm not picking the Patriots. Shocker. I know it really is. I said in this video they should be at the 29 spot. But there's still the fan in me that hopes that they win. If they go out and they destroy the Raiders, there might be something to talk about next week. Or if, like you said, the 49ers lose, or the 49ers even playing, I don't know.
49ers are playing...
I know I picked the 49ers.
Browns.
It's a
good game. Good defense. You see the meme where Myles Garrett has like
15. If the Browns blow out the 49ers, then we'll have something to talk about next week.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, and I think you said it in week 1. Right around that early to mid-season, we're going to start seeing some formations of sides. I think we've seen a definitive split at this point. 1 through 13. The Vikings at 14 as just the no man's land. They could go either way. And then 15 through 32. You've got your playoffs. And if that's not the playoffs at the end of the season, I don't know what will be.
5, 6. Actually, it works out perfectly with
Yeah.
AFC, NFC split. I don't know if divisions work out, but
probably not. But
yeah, they do actually. Yeah.
Do they? So
Yeah,
I mean, Miami takes a wild card, obviously.
yeah. Then,
Miami takes a wild card and then goes up against, I guess, the Bills.
well, I don't know how Yeah, I don't know how necessarily the seeding would necessarily go. I guess technically the Bills will be number one seed by my power rankings, but
Yeah, and then as a well, no, 'cause, there's two wild cards, aren't there?
there's 7 teams total that make it. It'll be obviously the 1 through 4 division winners with the number one seed getting the bye. 5 through 7 being wild cards from any division of that conference.
Okay.
Because your division
Then I
winners would
guess
basically be the Bills, the Ravens, the Jags,
yeah.
and the Charger. No, just our Chiefs. Sorry, maybe the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, Jags, Miami, Chargers, and Bengals would all be wild cards. Then you have the 49ers, Eagles, uh, Lions, and then Bucks being the division winners, and then having the Cowboys. Gosh, I'm bouncing around. Cowboys, Seahawks, and Vikings be the wild cards right now in power rankings form. It'll be interesting at the end of the season when we're kind of in that playoff and kind of preparing for the playoffs. We'll revisit all of our preseason predictions. That's what I'm kind of excited for. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I predicted the 49ers to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think I predicted. I forgot who I predicted.
I said the 49ers. And I think it was the 49ers and Bills were going to be in the Super Bowl.
I know 3 of us had.
I think that was my prediction.
Huh.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think we were all really similar, but right now Kansas City would be the number 1 seed. Kansas City and Miami would be are tied currently for the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Miami would win the split. I believe it's by points. No, it's by conference wins, huh?
Probably.
It'd be Chiefs would be number 1 seed then.
It's showing the Chiefs as number 1. Then it goes down to the Dolphins, then the Steelers, then the Jaguars, then the Colts, Ravens, Bills.
We still
and Browns.
Discretion there too is that some of these games. I mean, we've only played 5 games. We're only 1/3 of the season. There's still a lot that can change.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. The big thing is going to be that San Francisco, the 49ers and the Eagles. They are fighting for that number 1.
They play this season
NFC. Too. They do play this season?
I'm pretty sure. I'll look it up to confirm, but I think I was looking through the schedule, and I think they play this season. Later in the season, kind of in that 13-14 range, I think. Yeah, they play December 3rd. 18, 17, 16,
okay, yeah.
14, 13, week 13.
I mean, I think that's the game to decide who's the number 1 and who's the number 2.
Man, that's going to be freaking crazy. See,
unless one of them has a major fall off.
I see both those teams losing a game before then, though. Like, because the Eagles, I mean, they're facing the Bills, literally the weekly. Holy crap, the Eagles have a freaking tough game lead up to the 49ers. Cowboys, Eagles, Bills. Sorry, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills. Oh my god. Imagine playing the 4, oh my gosh, if you look at the 5 games right there, it's Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys. For the Eagles. The Eagles freaking are gonna struggle, dude. There's no way they're winning, all those games. There's no way.
Nope.
49ers, though, sneakily could. There's only a couple games to see them losing. I talked about this before, I believe. But, the 49ers, I mean, I'm not saying Brock Purdy's him, but, Brock Purdy might be him.
Brock Purdy is him.
I see them losing maybe to the Eagles, and then every other game is easily winnable. Next hardest team they probably face is the Ravens. The Jags are up there, I guess. The Bengals are existing. The Browns aren't any big pushovers. The Vikings aren't necessarily pushovers for the exact opposite reason of the Browns. But, they kind of got a clear path to a 17-0. So maybe they still are undefeated when they get to the Eagles. That'd be very interesting if the Eagles have 1 loss and the 49ers are undefeated at that point, because then the Eagles really need to win, because that's not only going to catapult them above the 49ers, it puts them in the tiebreaker. That's so intriguing. So intriguing. Anyway, we've been rambling on really long for the Power Rankings video. This really isn't about Power Rankings at this point.
Nope. Never is.
So,
the Power Rankings is never just about the Power Rankings.
Especially during these middle weeks.
We need to fill time.
Hmm.
If we had
Facts.
just did the Power Rangers show, this video would have been 5-10 minutes long. We would have
Facts.
zoomed through them, and we wouldn't get. I mean, we would get views, but we'd probably get the amount of views we get now. But still, one day, if we make it big, we gotta work on these, drawing them out, making them maybe make them more 20 minutes, an hour long. But
Yeah,
it
that,
is.
that is fair. I mean, I don't know how long
No
we've
one
been
probably wants
recording.
to hear us talk for an hour long.
Well, to
But
be honest, it's only been 45 minutes or so. So like 44 minutes. Like, that's actually short for
I think
us.
this is the shortest video we've ever had.
Shortest video all the boys have had together, I believe. Like in terms of like outside of just my content that I make for the channel.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool though. But that's our opinions. Shu and I are just like the actual NFL experts. That's just beside the point there. Obviously, we're the ones committed to knowing NFL and talking some ball. But
No, don't include me in that.
talking some ball.
See this jersey right here? I don't watch football anymore.
He's taking a slight hiatus.
I'm taking a major hiatus.
But beside the point, I think this has been really enjoyable. Obviously, since this is the last video of the boys this week, so the rest of the content this week will kind of be just me and kind of filling out content. We're trying to get the Madden series going. I know with Trayson being gone, it's kind of been tougher and everything, and beside the point. We're trying to get more fun series that are involving not just me. I'm trying to make content that way we keep things going and things are still chugging along. That way it's not like a drought in between each video. But I'm also wanting to get the boys together before too long and get a bunch of different videos recorded, probably like some trivias, stuff like that. That way we can have some supplemental content in between. That way it's not just
We've
me
been
all the
talking
time.
about the NFL.
What's that?
We've been talking about Madden. We've been talking about doing that, rebuilding the Madden bottom four.
Yeah, I think the Madden series, hopefully, again, all of us have not been able to be there. Right before Trayson left, we tried to get it going, but I was really unavailable. And Trayson left for vacation, and then I know Taylor and Ryan tried to get it going, but again, Trayson was gone, so we're like, we'll just hold off. So maybe when Trayson gets back, we'll get all this rolling. Hopefully we can get Ben and Trayson and Taylor back in here, and we'll do some trivia as well and get some nice stuff going. I got a good little fun series of myself also kind of behind the scenes, but right now the downloads on my computer aren't necessarily working. So anyway, you can stay tuned for all that good content. I think this channel is really good when it's all of us kind of together being, talking about football, cutting the shit, giving Ben his shit, giving Ryan his shit, giving me my shit, giving Trayson his shit. And all just having fun. So, anything else to say, Ryan? Ending off the video? No. That was the most sad no ever. Beside the point.
Conor Bedard is a god. That's all I'm gonna say.
Beside the point. I hope you guys enjoyed watching and are still staying tuned. Subscribe. Stick around, grab a drink, watch the videos, and chill out. Thank you guys for watching. StraightA Dawson out.